bombshell report on President Trump and his sons. Wow. Make America great again, huh? Trump reportedly funneled donations for Children's Cancer Hospital to his business. That's low. Oh, that's low. Even for the Trumps, that's low. Okay, so let's break it down. President Donald Trump funneled $100,000 in donations intended for a childhood cancer hospital into revenue for the Trump Organization, Forbes reports. The Forbes report scrutinizes Trump's son Eric, who hosts an annual golf invitational for his foundation at the Trump National Golf Club in Westchester County, New York, every September. Per Forbes, Eric has hosted this event for 10 years on behalf of the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital in Memphis and has directed more than $11 million there, the vast majority of it via this annual golf event. Eric boasts that his charity is efficient, hosting the event free of charge at his family's golf course and having most of the other costs donated so that virtually all the money contributed will go toward helping kids with cancer. We get to use our assets 100% free of charge, Trump said to Forbes. Unfortunately for the children, that's not true. Forbes reviewed filings from the Eric Trump Foundation and determined that the Trump Organization received payments for its use, part of more than $1.2 million that has no documented receipts past the Trump Organization. Not only that, but the Trump Organization may have been overcharging for the rental of the use of the golf course. Forbes consulted golf charity experts because of course they did, who said the listed expenses defy any reasonable cost justification for a one-day golf tournament. Additionally, the Donald J. Trump Foundation, which has come under previous scrutiny for self-dealing and advancing the interests of its namesake rather than those of charity, apparently used the Eric Trump Foundation to funnel $100,000 in donations into revenue for the Trump Organization. While $100,000 donated for the benefit of cancerous children was funneled into the Trump Organization, Forbes also reports that of the donations, $500,000 was redonated to other charities, many of which were connected to Trump family members or interests, including at least 4 groups that subsequently paid to hold golf tournaments at Trump courses. Dan Alexander, who penned the Forbes report, notes that this seems to defy federal tax rules and state laws that ban self-dealing and misleading donors. Okay, so this is one of the oldest scams in the book, and it is a Trump 101 scam that they've used repeatedly. Now, Trump has used this with his own organizations, with his own organization, I should say, or foundation. Now, Trump's sons were doing the same thing. And so just to give a few other examples, one of the things Trump did is money for his charity he used to buy paintings of himself. A painting of himself. And he would take hundreds of thousands of dollars and just give them, redirect it into his business and keep the money when he would pitch the idea to people, other rich donors, to give money to him for his foundation, for charity, for X, Y, and Z. So we already knew that about him. Now we have his sons doing the same thing, and in this instance, it's $100,000 that was meant for kids with cancer. Now, you could say, well, hold on, but they raised $11 million, and it was $100,000 of the $11 million that went to them, and actually it was more than that. $500,000, they say, was redonated to other charities, many of which were connected to the Trump family members' interests, including at least 4 groups that subsequently paid to hold the golf tournaments at Trump courses. So in other words, it's more like $500,000 or $600,000 that it's a shell game. So you take the money. This is for children with cancer. Okay, here, let me give some on the side over here, to Ivanka. Let me give some on the side over here to Melania. Let me give some to dad's, business or charity over here. And then you redirect the money around, and then boom, at the end of the day, where does it end up? In your fucking bank account. You make it as revenue. Now, you have to come as advertised. You can't say it's all for charity. It's all for charity. So don't worry about it. Whatever we raise is going to charity, and then take $600,000 off the top. And actually, again, the larger number, 1.2 million. Let's see exactly what they said. Part of more than 1.2 million that has no documented receipts past the Trump Organization. So it's really 1.2 million. So they raise a bunch of money. You put some of it towards what you say it's going to go towards, and then you skim off the top. That's the way it works. And when you're dealing with, dollar figures that are this large, a couple 100,000 here or there, 1.2 million here or there, you're making a lot of money off of scamming people that all of the money is going to go towards children's cancer treatment. That's just loathsome, man. That's just fucking sick. I've made the mistake. I don't cover enough. Like, we've discussed the Trump charity thing, and he did this with veterans, too. He raised money for veterans. We're going to raise this much money for veterans. And then he would, raise half of that. And then people be like, hey, you said you raised X amount. And they'd be like, oh, yeah. And then he'd write the check that day when he gets called out. Like, see, no, I raised it. Fake news media is saying I'm... So what are you doing with that money? They fucking keep the money, man. And that's an angle of Trump we don't cover enough. That not only is he a liar politically, and he'll say, he'll be on every side of every issue. One day he's in favor of, hey, let's stop with the trade deals. The next day he's like, okay, let's do more trade deals. You name it. So, hey, I'm against Goldman Sachs. Okay, I just appointed 4 Goldman Sachs guys in my administration. He's a liar in that respect. But then there's also just the standard con man shit. Like, this is just run-of-the-mill scumbag con man shit where, you have a big name, so you've built a brand, and the brand is internationally recognized, and people associate Trump with success, the name Trump with success, and you exploit that. So you say, yeah, we're going to do the thing, we're going to raise all the money for kids with cancer, and then you keep, whatever, a couple 100,000, 1.2 million. And then also, like they said, another thing they do is, oh, don't worry, we're going to host it at our golf course, but don't worry, we're not, it's all going for kids with cancer. Okay, but why are your prices for when you have the golf outing, exorbitant and way more than anybody pays for any outing ever? Again, because they're price gouging. They're saying, we're going to get our cut from this. So skim a couple 100,000 or a mil or so off the top. That's supposed to go to kids with cancer. We keep it. And then also you make money the other way where you just price gouge the fuck out of people for the cost of the outing. I mean, the other thing that popped in my mind, again, which I don't talk about enough, is Trump University. The president of the United States paid a couple $1 million out to settle a fraud lawsuit. He had to pay out a couple $1 million to settle a fraud lawsuit. So the president of the United States committed fraud. When you read the details of what happened with Trump University, you go, oh my goodness. Because it's not, this is what everybody needs to get. It's not like he went into it going, I'm gonna do this straight up. I'm gonna run this legit business. And I'm going to run this university. I'm going to make people rich, and I'm going to teach them all the tricks of the trade and all that stuff. It wasn't pure intentions from the beginning. It wasn't. In fact, it was the opposite. For example, what we learned is they hired known con men to be the teachers at the courses for Trump University. People who had been to prison, some people who had been behind bars for being con men, for being scam artists. That's who they hired. Also, they call it Trump University. No, bitch, you do know there's a process. You have to be verified. You have to be approved to be a university. You can't just call yourself a university when you're not a university. But they were just like, yeah, we'll just call it Trump University. So regulators in New York were like, you can't just fucking say I'm a university. That's crazy. There's a process. You have to be approved. You have to, there's a whole thing you have to go through to get the permit and dot all the I's and cross all the T's. You're like, no, we're just going to call it a university. Right off the bat, that's fraud. Hey, we're a university. Really? Well, you're not approved in any way. So, well, whatever. I'm a university. Like, can your neighbor just say, Ted's University, I just opened it, now give me $100,000? No, people, what the fuck? You can't do that. You'd have, law enforcement knocking on their door that day. What are you doing here? So, another thing they do is he promised, I'm going to be there. They would have people who paid for the course take pictures with a cardboard cutout of him. He said, I'll be there at, for the university to teach and stuff. The overwhelming majority of the time he wasn't, maybe showed up a handful of times, but they would just have the students take pictures with a cardboard cutout of him. At the beginning of every class, they play the theme song of The Apprentice. What? They would do classic scam moves. There's this thing called upselling. So you get people in the door, and then you basically bullshit them and let them know, hey, look, it's great that you paid to get in the door here, and that here we are, Trump University. We're going to teach you all the best things you need to know about business. Trump is incredibly successful. Trump makes a lot of money. And, you did the right thing in trying to learn the tricks of the trade and get the right investment tips and all that stuff. But here's the thing. If you really want to get the next level shit, you got to get the premium course. So, I know you paid however much you paid, couple $100, $1,000, whatever it is to get in here. But I'm saying, if you just give me $2,800, boom, then all the doors open up. You're definitely going to be rich. This is the way the game is played. It was just so clearly a scam. But now, when you have somebody like this, what, you think that's only limited to one area? Like, only in one area is he totally, or they are totally immoral and unscrupulous. Talking about Trump and his sons. Only in one area are they, horrific people. No, it of course spreads out into other things. So when you're doing charity, trying to raise money for kids with cancer, and look, so if it had come as advertised, if they said, here's the deal, we're going to raise some money for kids with cancer, but we're also going to take some money off the top. It's going to be for profit raising money of charity. So we're going to keep 1.2 million of whatever we raise. We're going to keep 10% of what we raise and just put it in for our businesses. If they did that, I would be defending them because, hey, you know what? They came as advertised. All these rich people said, we'll go do the thing at the Trump golf course, and we'll overpay, and 10% of the money will go to them, and the rest will go to kids with charity. If they did that, fine. If they came as advertised, but they didn't do that. They said, it's all going to go to charity, and then they kept fucking couple $100,000, $1 million, 10% of the money, and overcharged at the golf course. So they're fucking scamming people. They're lying to people. So it's not just limited to one area. It's going to be in every aspect. And even when it's fucking kids with cancer, and you act like you're this good Samaritan going to do the right thing. No, there's always an angle with these kinds of people. There's always an angle, an edge, a way to get one up on you. Always, always, always. So, Trump and his boys, so loathsome, they'll raise money for kids with cancer and skim quite a bit off the top for profit for themselves. How many kids didn't get the treatment they need because you decided, hey, maybe, again, what was the number? 1.2 million no documented receipts, or at the very least 100,000 that we know went directly into the organization. How many kids could have gotten better treatment as a result of that? So this is totally expected, but incredibly disgusting.